Hello and welcome all to Beyond the Boundary. And today we are once again going to talk about the Gabba test, day 4. Something dramatic happened. Mr. Ravindra Jadeja leading the attack along with Nitish Reddy. And in the end, a fantastic partnership between Akash Deep and Jasprit Bumrah may possibly have not only saved the follow-on, but also the match for India. Third test of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. This series is turning out to be absolutely entertaining every moment, every day of the passing test match. So let's get into the discussion mode. Good evening, I'm Pankaj Athavle, and today we have some fantastic panelists as usual on board. Let's welcome them one by one. Today, let's start with the debutant, the executive editor of Times of India, Vikas Singh, is with us today. Then we also have K Shriniwas Rao. K sir, welcome on board. And then we also have Saurabh Somani with so many books in the background. He is a studious character, but and we also like Sahil Malhotra all the way from Brisbane to join us. Mike, welcome to the party.
The
Okay.
party actually happened a few hours back at the stadium, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about that. See, today so many things have to be spoken about. But let's start with Vikas first, because, welcome to the show, Vikas, Beyond the Boundary. And we
Thank you,
can
Pankaj.
actually talk anything beyond the boundary because we're not on the field of play. So that's okay. But from 51 for 4, there
Yeah.
comes a resilient partnership between Jadeja and Nitish Reddy, something which we were eager to see throughout this series. And then we come to a point where there is 201 for 7. Did you expect such a turnaround?
No, honestly, no. I mean, though I think Jasprit Bumrah would have disagreed because, I think yesterday someone pointed out that his batting hasn't been the greatest. And he said, look up Google and see who has the most runs in a test over. And of course, it's him. He got 35 in England. So, but I think even Rahul mentioned that, once the 8 went down, he started thinking in terms of putting on his pads again. So, the way these guys pulled it off, hats off to them. And I think it also was a lesson, for the batters.
Right.
Uh, that and it's a point Steve Smith made as well when he said that sometimes you don't need to get a century, a 30 at the top of the order, which sort of sees off the ball at the beginning and allows your lower order to come down and score runs will do just as well. But I think it was fantastic to watch, and somehow I'm speaking a little too early, but one was very reminded of the last that test where Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari sort of held on and snatched it all literally, and things turned around from there. So I mean, still a day to go, and weather permitting, hopefully this is a draw, and then well, the series is still alive, which it didn't seem it would be that way at the start of the day. So yeah, I think India will be very very happy. As I think that's the beauty of this game, isn't it? That Australia is still far far ahead at the end of the day, but India is the happier team.
Absolutely, and if you look at the end of day's play, day 4, India still trailed by 193 runs in response to Australia's 445. India ended the day with 252 for 9 with some fantastic heroics in the end from Bumrah and Akash Deep. I'll come to Sahil because forecast बहुत सारी बातें करनी है. But KSR, I mean, we should congratulate on behalf of Beyond the Boundary, on behalf of all our viewers and all the Indian fans. Special thanks to Dwapa and Datta. Because we remember throughout this entire series, he has been advocating, please Jadeja Kolo, or ultimately it paid off. So I think this today's show is dedicated to Dwapa and Datta.
Yeah, I mean, who has faced 100 plus balls most in the exact last 2 years? Jadeja, second. I think Shubman is second, and this guy Yashasvi is third, right?
More
Jadeja
or less,
has
yeah, yeah.
faced the most 100 plus, kind of ball. So I think, the writing was clear on the wall, and Daipain, when he sticks to a point, he just goes on and on. And Jadeja, why not? I mean, today we all, in fact, Vikas had texted in the afternoon one of the thoughts which came to him, and he was like, Jadeja ko rakho. As this chat goes forward, I want to hear from Vikas ki Jadeja ko to rakhenge, but bithayenge kisko? Kind of. But because ahead of MCG, he's really made it loud and clear that he belongs here.
Very much, very much. And in fact, when Jadeja was batting, Nitish also gave him fantastic support. He was unfortunate, he got out. But Sahil, coming to you, the weather at Gabba, Now, what will happen tomorrow? We'll also talk about that, the forecast. But there are swirls of winds in between, which really is difficult on the ground. Day in the morning looked like quite open, but it was then overcast. How is it panning out the weather? If we talk about today and tomorrow.
No, so weather has been not in the favor of the Indian cricket team, right? As soon as they've come out to bat, it has been playing its tricks: cloud, sun, thunder showers, rain showers, scattered showers, wind blowing across the ground. And India were faced a very tricky situation, especially the openers, because when you knew that 2 over ke baad, 3 over ke baad, shayad fir barish aa jayegi, you'll have to
Yeah.
go back in, you have to come out again, you have to refocus. And KL Rahul did speak about that. Actually, I only asked him that question, how difficult it was for him to kind of keep concentrating over and over and again, and there were as many as 12 rain breaks, and that's a lot of interruptions for any opening batter to kind of put his head down and
Right.
restart from scratch. And that's what he used to do: 4 scratches of the popping crease, 2 taps of the bat, and he was again concentrating right up there. So I think full credit to KL Rahul there, playing 140 odd deliveries in what, 4 or 5 batches. It's not easy. It was not easy for this Indian cricket team, and especially after the kind of start Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shuman Gill, and the very consistent Virat Kohli, nicking outside off, gave us. I think KL Rahul held fort there. And then Jadeja just carried on. I think what KL did, it rubbed off on Jadeja. He
Yeah.
kind of picked cues from KL Rahul, something which our greats haven't managed to do in the series so far. But Jadeja showed what application, resilience, and stomach for fight can bring you in Test cricket, and that's what he is. You just think about Ravindra Jadeja. You think about the crucial knocks he has played for India across formats, those clutch knocks, where backs to the wall. You want someone to fight it out for you. He did that. Nitish Reddy, we are not talking enough about him. The amount of
Yeah,
deliveries
exactly.
that was opposite to what he has done in the series so far. He was just swinging his bat at everything. But today he fought there. He showed कि boss मेरे पास number 3 वाला game भी है. So I think it was a very
Exactly.
very good fight put up by our batters after what had happened on day 3. So India should be the happier lot, as all of you have been saying, because the statistically and mathematically we are still very far behind. But for last
Yeah.
20 minutes of madness, I think that was like cherry on the cake and more dramatic. Tha. Full on
Yes,
paisa
yes.
vasool.
And that's what I bring Saurabh in with the cherry on the cake. And Vikas and K Sir, I'm going to ask you some interesting flashback questions. But looking at the score sheet, the last two batters, Bumrah and Akashdeep, Saurabh, will be going to the boss and asking for a raise. Boss, हमने क्या हमारा भी पगार बढ़ाओ, हमने भी अच्छा काम किया है. This is what we're capable of.
वो लोग ने नंबर 4 और नंबर 6 से ज्यादा रन बनाए हैं वैसे.
Exactly.
But it was, I mean, any last wicket partnership is always just so much fun to watch, so exhilarating. Anytime it's just fun. It could be South Africa playing Sri Lanka, and if there's a last wicket partnership, it'll still be fun, even as a neutral. So yeah, that is there. Also, I just want to go back to one thing that Sahil said about the rain breaks making it difficult for the batsmen. It also made things much easier for Australia, because
Yeah.
Cummins and Stark got so many breaks to be fresh to keep
Yeah.
coming and bowling. And especially without Hazelwood, if they had had an uninterrupted day's play, they would have had to turn to Mitchell Marsh and Nathan Lyon a lot more. Abhi Mitchell Marsh ka body is still uncertain. He was actually in doubt before this test, and now he's ready to bowl also. But ठीक
But
है,
he's
but
jumping around, taking catches. पता नहीं मतलब क्या हो गया
हाँ,
उसको.
नहीं वो तो वो कर सकता है. But I think extended spells of bowling is still a little bit of a doubt.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now if the day had panned out without rain, who knows how it would have been, because even Jadeja and Nitish in their partnership, they might have had easier overs to face, because they would have because Cummins and Stark can't keep bowling long spells if they're continuously playing, especially without Hazelwood. So that I thought worked well to Australia's advantage. I mean, to be fair, it had worked for India also on day 1 when Bumrah, I think, bowled more than otherwise he would have. So
Right.
that's there. Day 1, day 2 technically, but which turned out to be day 1. So
Yes.
that was there. But especially with losing a bowler, that became so important that I think, yeah, I don't know
And
what India will do tomorrow, but I think they should just try to continue batting and batting and batting. And the way these two are batting, who knows? एक और 50 runs जोड़ लो.
यार ये देखो ये मजेदार है. Saurabh is very interesting. Sahil, I think वो Josh Hazelwood का they have said that he will not be available anymore for the India series, which is a kind of a serious thing. But Vikas, there was that moment. There were about 25, 26 runs required for India to save the follow-on, and the last pair was there. Suddenly, I went flashback into 1986. Kapil Dev coming, thak thak thak. चार छक्का मारा, बात खत्म हो गई, अपना हो गया. I was expecting ऐसा कुछ होगा क्या या फिर follow होगा. How were you feeling that time with those 25 runs still remaining to avoid the follow-on?
So I think initially there was really no tension, because you thought, ये तो follow-on हो गया, and then as kind of got मतलब अब कोई tension नहीं है तो वो बिंदास खेल रहे हैं, and then as the target got closer and closer is actually when you started to get some nerves, And I think Akashdeep was trying to swing a bit, and especially when there were just 6 or 7 runs left. If you remember, this message came out from the dressing room, and apparently they told him कि boss वो छक्का मत मार, singles, field spread has been singles में ले ले, singles में ले ले. But of course, ultimately it was a boundary that did it, and that was sort of just eluded Makswini. So, and I think India was you can call it well-deserved luck, but India got very lucky on the very first ball of the day, and it got very lucky towards the end of the day as well. मतलब वो जो राहुल catch, अगर जो पहला ball Steve Smith, who will take that catch, 99 times out of 100. I mean, if that catch had been held, then I think it was game over right there. But well, I guess it was India's day today. So.
Exactly, definitely. And KSR, I need to talk to you about two very important factors. I'll come to the match summary and of course Rohit's captaincy vis-a-vis Cummins' captaincy. Two very important moments of match presence. मतलब आप खेल रहे हो 201 पर 7, fourth ball of the over, and Mr. Siraj wants to take a run and he's pleading Jadeja ki tu is taraf aa ja, and he makes a mockery of it and takes a run, and Jadeja comes that side. So match presence, Siraj specifically, even in terms of his bowling and his batting, I mean it's test match, you need to figure out certain things. What's happening in the dressing room?
It's as much as we here imagine, like kind of we sitting here and trying to kind of engage and talk about what's happening on the field, and we are so excited about it. Just spare a thought for those guys. First of all, the kind of pressure that's on them, so many things running on their mind. I really kind of wouldn't blame. I after Pant, I really wouldn't question anybody in that batting order, and whatever they've done. Had this last wicket partnership even not happened, and things wouldn't have gone India's way, which we are all smiles for right now, I really wouldn't have questioned anything. Siraj has copped up a lot already, and there's been a lot of pressure on that boy ever since he's landed in Australia, because it's again, I mean, a shot, a very sticky bowling attack that we're traveling with. So keeping all of that in mind, I really wouldn't blame him. Happens in the middle of play. But yeah, I would blame it to excitement. That's it. I mean, the guy was
अरे लेकिन इतना एक्साइटमेंट केएसआर की भाई, मतलब जडेजा उधर परेशान था, इसको बोलूं तो मैं क्या बोलूं, बट
कुछ वही तो बोल रहा हूँ ना, वो अच्छे बड़े क्रिकेटर्स ने किया है. हमारे नंबर 4 कर चुके हैं, नंबर 5 कर चुके हैं, तो क्या अब इनको
बोलना. नंबर 4 का तो कमाल ये, मैं बॉलिंग कर रहा हूँ, साहिल बैटिंग कर रहा है, आपने कैच लिया तो हमारे नंबर 4 कैच नहीं किया तो वहां सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं हम दोनों को छोड़ के.
I blame the broadcasters here. वो broadcasters भी I mean very weird.
Exactly.
The boy hitting the 6 is not good enough. Our bat, like somebody sitting in the dressing room is like excited. Oh yaar, kya 6 mara, like kahan gaya, like that strange, becomes the videograph of the day. So it's unfortunate. No taking away any credit from whatever this tale has kind of managed. Every single time, especially when we are right now talking about tours to Australia and what we have accomplished there, this tale, this lower order, kind of the miracles that they have come up with. I mean, these small things can visibly be ignored. Like I don't think much needs to be read into it, because the big picture is still with us. We've managed to. We are in the middle of managing. Let me choose my words carefully. We're in the middle of managing to save this test match, and God bless us, this is going to be what it is.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. We'll go to the calculations further. But Sahil, now the score sheet is match summary is in front of you. We still trail by 193 runs. Today we saw a couple of cracks opening up and the ball just zooming out. Just tell us what's the situation of the pitch, because day 5 is going to really open up. Couple of balls for Jadeja, couple of balls for Akashdeep. They really just landed exactly on the crack.
Yeah. No, see, as I said, it was very, very hot in the first session of play, right? And that actually allowed the pitch to bake for enough time under the sun.
Okay.
But enough recovery was possible because of the thunder showers and the consistent showers which happened later in the afternoon and the evening. So I'm not really sure how much the pitch would open up, or would we see the snakes which the Australian pitches are known to produce, the snaky cracks as they call them. So I'm not sure whether we'll see those snaky cracks, but इतना डैमेज विकेट पर नहीं होगा, क्योंकि अभी ऊपर भी इतना गर्मी नहीं है, ह्यूमिडिटी लेवल्स भी इतने हाई नहीं थे आज फॉर द आफ्टरनून एंड इवनिंग सेशंस. इट वाज नाइस एंड breezy, pleasant evening. So I don't really see the cracks kind of opening up enough threat batters from both sides. Yes, our most sorted looking, one of the two most sorted looking batting pair is in the middle right now. And you mentioned about Virat Kohli and broadcaster. I think I know precisely why they pan towards Virat Kohli, because आकाशदीप जैसी ड्रेसिंग रूम में जाने वाला है, विराट कोहली इज गोइंग टू टेक दैट बैट बैक, क्योंकि उसके बैट से आकाशदीप ने उससे ज्यादा रन बना दिए अभी. So that bat is no longer staying with Akashdeep for sure. But I don't see the pitch kind of, and the pitch really hasn't played any tricks here. If you look at the entire test match, whatever cricket we have seen, I think it has behaved very nicely, and the bounce has been true. All the batters have been leaving on length, even around that 4th, 5th stump corridor. So that hasn't been any major worry. No tricks really being played by the pitch. So अगर कोई ऐसा पोस्टमार्टम हम करते भी हैं परसों, तो पिच को हम बाजू हटा सकते हैं, क्योंकि जैसा मिस्टर शास्त्री बोलते हैं, पिच को बाजू हटाओ और फिर क्रिकेट खेलो.
क्या बात है. लेकिन हमारे फैंस को हम बाजू नहीं हटा सकते. लॉट्स ऑफ व्यूज कमिंग इन. स्पोर्ट्स फैन इज आस्किंग यू अबाउट हेजलवुड. विल टेक एन अपडेट फ्रॉम यू. बट उपेंद्र सिंह ने बड़ा अच्छा एक कमेंट भेजा. वो तो कितना आगे निकल के दिखिए. लेट इंडिया प्ले अनदर 5-7 ओवर्स. लेट ऑस्ट्रेलिया बी डॉक्ड अनदर 10 पॉइंट्स फॉर स्लो ओवर रेट, ताकि उनका जो है वो WTC का जो है वो इक्वेशन खराब हो जाएगा. अरे यार, our fans think so fantastically, so far ahead. That's the brilliance of our fans and beyond the boundary. But Saurabh, ये तो मतलब मजेदार बात हो गई. Let's compare Rohit and Cummins. Cummins today, in the absence of Hazelwood, he's a fantastic captain. Probably we don't look at him as a very great captain, but Cummins is much more smarter than Rohit. If you look at this series, and Sahil yesterday also mentioned that Rohit looked completely out of sorts. मतलब ऐसा लग रहा था कि वो मैच में है ही नहीं. So comparing the two captains, this is a very wonderful series.
नहीं, Cummins is anyway a fantastic captain, but I think he did something very irresponsible. उसके टीममेट का कॉन्फिडेंस डेंट कर दिया. मतलब वो सनराइजर्स हैदराबाद को जीतना है तो नीतीश रेड्डी को आउट क्यों किया? ऐसे बेचारे को 40 बनाने देता. So that was not good captaincy by Cummins, I have to say. But on a serious note, Cummins, I think, is a fantastic leader of men. And actually for Sunrisers also, I know this for a fact, he has been a very inspirational presence. He has been able to gather and inspire the guys a lot. And the same thing with Australia. I mean, we saw during the whole Justin Langer fiasco, right, when they didn't want Langer and all, and he put out a statement that just was so powerful and simple at the same time, and standing up for his mates without offending anyone. So that showed the caliber of the guy. So Cummins is obviously he was a little hampered today because he didn't have all his bowling resources, but he showed his fitness level also. I think he has bowled some 24-25 overs in the day, which is quite. Of course, he had breaks which I alluded to earlier, which helped him. But still, it's quite a feat to bowl that many. And the thing is, his last over was as intense as his first over. It's not कि some pace dropped, intensity dropped, anything, about that over rate thing is actually quite important, I think, not for the over rates, but because in 5 overs the new ball is going to come, and the new ball is going to do stuff. Matlab, every game in Australia till now, we have seen how the new ball is so powerful. They have actually raised the seam of the Kookaburra, I think, and added an additional layer of lacquer. So it does more anyway, when it's new and hard. And obviously, Bumrah and Akashdeep have thrilled all of us by batting the way they have. But it'll be very difficult, I think, for them to survive once the new ball comes. They'll need luck. And also, I think Vikas sir mentioned that Akashdeep had some luck and all. I think he earned that luck, Jitta luck usko bowling mein nahi mila, with all the beating of the edges constantly, उसको batting में at least मिल गया.
Batting में मिल गया.
So
Right.
so at least there was some karma leveling that happened there.
Yes, and couple of very interesting stats. Akashdeep records the second highest score at number 11 in position, and also Bumrah and Akashdeep ki jo partnership thi, that was the highest. So a lot of interesting records being set. But Vikas, let's come down to Mr. Jadeja. When I was watching the match and uske bat pe likha hai Marwadi Stallion. I mean, he really loves the way he carries himself. Now the fact is, what a lot of people are asking कि you didn't even consider Jadeja for the first two. अब तक तो उसको सब मैच खेलना चाहिए था. A lot of people are saying कि छोड़ो यार, get Washington, Ashwin, Jadeja. Your fast ball is not working. Get the three of them. Let Jadeja be there and let's enjoy. I mean, how do you look at Jadeja's coming now? You can't ignore him for the rest of the series.
So I think frankly, if Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma want to do the right thing by Team India, then Rohit should sit out. And there is precedent because Mike Dennis in 1975 dropped himself when he was out of form.
Yes.
Now you just imagine a scenario where Rohit is not there. So you have Jadeja batting at 6, and Jadeja, by the way, is by far your best overseas batter. So you play him as a batter. Any overs you get out of him is a bonus. But you play him as a batter. You have Nitish doing a good job at 7. You play Washi or Ashwin at 8. And then you have your 3 pacers. I think this 11 looks far better both in terms of batting and bowling than the 11 that is playing in Brisbane right now.
Very interesting.
Incidentally, I'd also consider giving Prasidh Krishna a go and maybe resting Siraj. I know he's bowled his heart out, but I think he is nursing a niggle. So maybe, rest him for one match. Let Prasidh come in. That extra bouncing gives would be very handy. So then you would have 3 pacers. You would have Nitish as your bowling all-rounder. You would have a proper spinner. And Jadeja, if he bowls a few overs, that's a bonus.
KSR, what do you think? Combination?
I was waiting for Vikas to say this because I already had a question in my mind. So, so you are saying we can afford to go to MCG based on only 3 pacers. That sounds like a somewhat unsettling thought, to go to MCG with just 3 pacers, and that too when we have an unsettled pace attack. I mean, 3 very settled pacers, I can understand.
Yeah, for you and Vikas and everyone, see, अगर हमारी pace attack battery चल नहीं रही है, तो what we do? Let's go with what we are good at, spin. चलो खेलते हैं.
No, but I don't agree that the pace attack isn't working. See, Bumrah is doing a great job. Akashdeep was just very unlucky. He was beating the batsman like a drum, and he didn't get any wickets. But most other days he'll walk away with 3-4 wickets. So I think it's too early for Akashdeep. Siraj, like I said, take Siraj out and bring in Prasidh with that extra bounce. Number 8, fine. If you don't want to play, Washi or Ashwin, okay, play Harshit Rana.
Okay.
But I do think that you need to have Jadeja, and Jadeja you can't really count on as a bowler. Honestly, you should be playing Jadeja just as a pure batter.
Yeah, yes, and Ankar Vishwas says that he looks so comfortable there. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
In fact, the thought, something what Sahil said a while ago, in this very conversation, started this conversation when he was talking about Nitish and what he saw, the version of Nitish, because until now, a guy who was just swinging his bat around, and, today kind of the application that he shows. Today, from the Nitish that I have watched, it gives me heart to say that, there is potential in kind of promoting this guy up the order. Kind of, I see potential in this guy, like taking that slot which could be left vacant by Rohit if wishes were horses, and then kind of coming back to this thing. But yes, all these combinations can be worked out. But what I'm not convinced about, in my mind, is going to MCG without 4 pacers. That's a thought. That kind of is a bit unsettling. So as long as we are sorted on that front, we have 4 fast bowlers, and I mean, I don't know, my mind is thinking on those lines. And yeah, there is no doubting the fact that Jadeja needs to be there in the squad. It's just that how in other ways we make the 11 work.
Correct. So let's also ask our viewers, by the time we are continuing with this conversation, tell us, do you think Nitish Reddy can he be promoted up the order, and at what slot? Tell us your name and of course your comment करो कि भाई नीतीश रेड्डी को हम कितना ऊपर खिला सकते हैं, उनको ऊपर खेलना चाहिए या नहीं. जल्दी से comment कीजिए. Yes, Saurabh, you had a point.
No, I wanted to ask Srini, is Nitish one of the 4 pacers? If you have a 4 pacer attack, Nitish is one of the 4. Okay. So Nitish, one point I wanted to make was that Nitish has obviously batted really well in the whole series. Previously, I think he was hitting out because he was batting with the tail, so
Yeah.
he had to farm the strike and all. Today he could bat normally because he had Jadeja with him. And Jadeja also has batted beautifully, and he has batted well across overseas tests. But the thing is, both of them batted when it was easier to bat. We have to remember that the top order has it more difficult because the new ball does a lot more than the old ball. So they have batted really well. I think they should keep their places. Now the problem is that they are both now functioning as batting all rounders. So if they keep their places, it sort of is a move where you say that humko we are putting more on drawing the test than winning it, or we are shoring up our batting and hoping Jasprit Bumrah अपना Albus Dumbledore बन के magic wand wave करेगा एक बार फिर, and he will do something for us.
नहीं, और
So
इसीलिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, ये थोड़ा सा आ गया क्वेश्चन मेरे मन में. एंड साहिल, आई स्टार्ट विद यू. देयर वाज अ डिस्कशन दैट बुमराह मे नॉट प्ले ऑल द 5 मैचेस. I'll come to Hazelwood, but I like to ask all of you, because this is something in today's condition what Indian team is all about. Starting with Sahil, do you see Bumrah playing all the 5 matches?
I think there's a lot of chatter around making Bumrah the next Test captain, right? So if he wants to walk that talk, and the kind of chatter he himself has been doing regarding his own captaincy, that he rates himself as the best captain ever and all that jazz. So you can't be sitting out of a 5-test series, right? Because if you want to be the Test captain of India, you have to play any and every test possible, at home or away. I think there's no reason why you should be benching Bumrah right now. What's the date today? It's 17th December.
Yes.
So consider Bumrah gets to bowl tomorrow, which he would, but not an extended spell because rain is still in the forecast. 9 दिन का गैप आपके पास बॉक्सिंग डे के लिए है यार. You can still enjoy your boxing day lunches and dinners, spend Christmas, spotting Christmas windows at near Melbourne Street, Flinders and Little Collins and all that jazz. वो सब देख लो. 9 दिन is enough time for you to recover. If Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc are playing all 5 tests for you, I'm given to understand that Bumrah is 100% fit right now. So why do we continue to have that approach that you need to keep wrapping him in cotton wool and everything? He's 100% fit यार. He's looking very athletic. He's throwing himself around. 5 टेस्ट खिलाओ, टेस्ट सीरीज जीतने गए हो ना, वहां कोई हाजिरी थोड़ी लगाने गए हैं कि ऑफिस में पंच इन कर दिया, 9 घंटे के बाद पंच आउट किया. अप्रेजल तो तभी होगा ना जब कड़क स्टोरी निकलेगा. तो जाओ भाई, विकेट लो ना. मतलब I don't understand why people even kind of talk about this. Jasprit is the leader of your pack. He's the number 1 ranked test bowler right now. If even if you ask Jasprit Bumrah right now, ये 5 टेस्ट छोड़ना यार, मतलब आप कैसे छोड़ सकते हो एक टेस्ट मैच भी इस टूर का, which is like one of the most important tours, and then the England tour to follow for sure. So these 10 test matches, I don't see any reason why you should bench Jasprit Bumrah. कोई निगल विगल है तो हटाओ. सिराज भाई को निगल लग गया ना, जसप्रीत को निगल लगा. सिराज भाई ने, मियां ने इतना मैजिक किया कि उनको निगल भी हो गया. मतलब he has done everything. He has farmed the strike, he has taken the strike, वो आउट भी हो गया, वो निगल भी हो गया, ट्रेविस हेड से झगड़ा भी कर लिया, सब कुछ किया, बस विकेट नहीं लिया. तो जो सब कुछ कर रहा है तो खेलने दो.
Yes.
One thing is sure, it's 10 test matches, not 11.
Okay.
Yeah, that's happening. This side doesn't deserve to go to WTC final. Let's save another round of embarrassment. They don't stand a chance if they run into South Africa. So वो फिर दोबारा अब की बार फिर हार, वो मेरे को वो मीम भी नहीं पढ़ना भाई, इनसे नहीं हो पाएगा ना. तो let's be clear, let's be realistic. नहीं, they don't deserve to be there. And it will be like polishing the egos which are already so polished कि boss, we reach another WTC final. Please, they don't deserve to be in the final. They need to go back to the drawing board, hit that transition reset again, get the youngsters, chuck people who are not performing out, and then start afresh and approach the next cycle the way it is supposed to be approached. As simple as that.
As simple as that. Priyanshu sends us his message. Another message was there. Chadresh says, why is Sahil looking like as if he's on the beach? He's been there. And Chandresh, you don't need to worry. You're just jealous of Sahil. That's it. But KSR, coming to you. And Vikas, tomorrow's equation. India, can they hold on for another half an hour, 45 minutes? Ravi Shankar Kumar says, if India are able to save this match, then I will give rest to Bumrah for Melbourne. Arey, nahi, because he's not 100%. Nahi. Ravi Shankar ji, humne mana kar diya.
Ravi Shankar Kumar can do a lot of things. So.
So before you complete, Pankaj, Ravi Shankar Kumar had a demand from me from the live sessions which we have been doing outside the ground during the rain breaks. So those are like marathon sessions. I speak to everyone like for an hour or so, and Ravi Shankar Kumar is a regular. He had a demand कि साहिल भाई आपको रोहित शर्मा को पूछना है. Will you drop
अरे
yourself
यार,
if you are the captain? आपको रोहित से टफ सवाल पूछना है, तो ये तो सवाल भी बता देते हैं, फिटनेस छोड़ो, ये हमें एक सवाल भी बताते हैं कि प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में पूछना क्या है. So
thank you, Ravi
Ravishankar
Shankar Kumar ji, so much
has
of
universal
involvement.
powers.
That is the beauty of Beyond the Boundary and our viewers and the whole chat. But case are coming to tomorrow, last day. बारिश होगी नहीं होगी? Can India play about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then what options do Australia have?
See, I'm not going to like kind of. I'm happy with whatever has come my way already. I
Okay.
was listening to Saurabh saying that new ball is out, 5 overs, new ball is due, etc. It's really kind of now. I mean, it's nice. I mean, we've come this far. It's okay to wish that these two continue to stretch as much as possible. Obviously, I'd like to kind of see these guys prolong the as much as they can when play starts, and then rain takes over from there. I mean, if wishes were everything, but,
Yeah,
that,
chat.
realistically speaking, to me, even if tomorrow in the first 15-20 minutes of play this India innings gets over, Australia has to come, kind of, and then bat
Yeah.
for let's say there is no rain whatsoever, no rain at all. And even if they were to kind of bat between for the first session and somewhere around until lunch, and then give India a go at the target, let's say around 250, 300 maybe, if they want to really make a game out of this. Even then, I mean, India, there is a lot of work still waiting to be done. We are only hoping that rain comes and takes over, but
Correct.
beyond that, things can work in our favor, because obviously, like Josh Hazelwood, he's out, he's not there. It's a tired Australian attack. Even after a 2 hour rest, even if if they have to come and bowl again to India's top order, it's not going to be an easy job for them. There is there's freshness is going to be lacking in their attack also. So from that
Very interesting.
standpoint, we have a lot that we have gained from whatever we managed today towards the end of the play. Tomorrow, just we have to continue doing whatever is required to make sure that this doesn't go away from us anymore, and just
Correct.
this to a 1-1 draw and then go to MCG.
Yes, and Ranjan Rajput's question is actually for tomorrow, end of day split, because Melbourne or Sydney, where does India have a best chance to win the match? We can actually give the answer once we know the result. And tomorrow's show, definitely Ranjan will take up this question. But because Nathan Lyon, at the end of day's play also said that the wicket will be naughty with the new ball if it doesn't rain. I mean, they're trying to play games, So how much time does it need for Australian bowlers to get those Indian 10 wickets? Because they'll go for a win. And there's not enough time considering there's no rain probably.
So, I think the one thing I would say is first of all, it depends on how much, our last wicket is able to add. But I do hope that when it is India's turn to bowl, they shouldn't, start defensively. They shouldn't start with spread out fields, because that will just give the Australians a chance to sort of knock around the ball, take a few quick singles. Look for wickets. At the end of the day, the best way to, keep the scoring rate down is to get wickets. And, if you could actually get a situation where Travis Head is not coming in after the 30th over, because he's the guy, if anyone is going to score fast runs, it's going to be him. And, if you can get him in a little early, so far, India's only once bowled to him early on, and that was when we got the Australians out for 150. So, if you get quick wickets, that is your best chance of sort of making sure that they don't post a very big total. And then, of course, it'll also depend on how many overs we have to bat out, because our top order doesn't give you great hope. Then again, I hope they don't sort of say, "Arey, we are going to play a natural game. Arey, you have to survive 50 overs here."
As usual.
Don't sort of come out looking to play a natural game. I think in Australian cricket there is a term called getting a cowan. Like if you play out 50 balls, you got a cowan. So look to get a cowan. Don't look to score a half century. Look to get a cowan, everyone, and especially Virat. Ki bhai, mat ja for those cover drives. Don't go after those wide ones. Jane de, chhod de, well left kar de. There's scope for well left. So
I think because on Beyond the Boundary we'll have a special show during the matches about Australian terms, because they say he dropped a soda. That's a screamer. That's a. So, बहुत मजेदार show भी हो जाएगा with all of us talking about that. But chalo, final round of question to all of you. Sort of starting with you. What sort of target should Australia give to India? Assuming India कल wicket चला गया और ऑस्ट्रेलिया बैटिंग करने आ गई, ऑस्ट्रेलिया क्या सेफ टारगेट मानोगे इंडिया को दे सकते हैं?
let's take the most optimistic scenario for Australia. First over में wicket मिल जाए. So India is all
Okay.
out.
हाँ.
ठीक है?
हाँ.
Now their lead is 193. They don't have Josh Hazelwood. If I was Australia, I would want at least 300 on the board to defend if there is no Josh Hazelwood. So Abhi, they have to score about 100 runs. Now again, if we are taking optimistic scenario, what's to stop them from sending Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh to open? Let's say treat it like a T20. Even if they're 90 all out, it doesn't matter. मतलब 300 का
Correct.
target तो हो गया. So they will do that. Then India will have to face about 70 overs, and this is full optimistic scenario of no rain
Correct.
at all.
हाँ.
So they will set India 300 in 70 overs in the most optimistic scenario. Now, if India can't survive the 70 overs on the last day without with an Australian attack that has just bowled and without Josh Hazelwood, then we don't deserve to draw the test. So if
Okay.
if
300 is
no,
what
they
you're saying.
need to just be sorry.
You're saying 300 at least.
I'm saying 300 in 70 overs is like a sort of India should think of that as a worst case scenario and plan according to that. And if it's 70 overs, you give the first 20 overs to the bowlers. बाद में देखो क्या होता है, कैसा होता है. They have
Okay.
a bowler less. You might be able to hit out a bit more and all. So first, you don't go for victory from the start. You play carefully, and then this is in the worst case scenario. In the best case
Yes,
scenario,
okay.
it could be better.
Interesting. Sahil, with what score do you see for Australia, and also will Hazelwood come out to bat if required?
No, I think he was heavily strapped there when he went for that scan after pulling his calf during the warm-ups, and he was heavily strapped. And now that they've pulled him out of the series, also I don't see him coming out to bat and all that jazz. Plus, no matter how much we discuss, हम जितना मर्जी permutation combination लगा ले, Rain will have the last laugh. We can do anything and everything we want. Abhi already I can see it from inside the room. It's already building up. So let's just wait for Rain and kind of hold our horses on kind of.
कमाल है, मतलब तुमने स्कोर
नहीं होगा यार, मतलब आज कितना क्रिकेट देखने को मिला, कितना क्रिकेट हुआ. अगर प्रॉपर क्रिकेट होता तो it could have been a different story, no? We wouldn't have been discussing all this. But it's actually the fact that Rain has actually dictated terms in this test match, and Australia have been very, very lucky to bat on a day where sun was out in its full glory. So that has been a fact in the series. So Rain will have the last laugh, and it's important to also consider the fact that after this 5-test series, Australia are going to play another test series, and their qualification for the WTC final will probably be resting on those results too. So would they be in a position to burn out Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins tomorrow again by giving India their target and another 15-20 over spell to Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins? Back-to-back days mein aap 40-45 over unse dalwaoge, and now that he's out, you have 2 more tests to go in Melbourne and Sydney. So you have to keep their workload in mind as well. Scott Boland, in all possibility, would be returning for the Boxing Day test. Sydney again start-stop test in store. So you have to keep all those things in mind. And as Australia will be going for the result, that was very clear. Dan Vittori made it very clear that we'll go for the result. We'll try everything possible to get that result. But they'll also have to factor in Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc's workload, because the bowler they are short right now is just not any bowler. He's their workhorse. He can give you long spells, same spot, over after over. So when you miss your workhorse, you have to have a change in strategy and approach.
Yes, प्रियांशु कह रहे हैं आपसे बारिश करवा दो, साहिल भाई खत्म करो बात, ड्रॉ करवा दो. Vijay Krishna says, if I were Australia, I might go defensive and let their batters Khwaja, McSweeney and Labuschagne get their form back and wear out the Indian bowlers. KSR, क्या target Australia देगी India को?
Listen, I don't think you can, tomorrow when they kind of go out there, start, but first of all, it has to kind of start with, how much more can India prolong this? If they wrap up in the first 15 minutes of play, then it's a different story. If they continue to kind of show the kind of tenacity they've shown, probably bat for another 45 odd minutes, then, they go out, change, etc. Come first 1 hour of play is lost. Then it depends on what kind of start Australia make. If then, if they find the start good enough, and if they get to the 50 or 60 runs without losing a wicket, then they are well on track to kind of accelerate a bit and try and see See, Sahil said that they'll try to look for a victory. Of course, they'll try to look for a victory. This is as good as an opportunity as it gets for them to kind of, push India into a corner. And why would they let an opportunity like this go?
Correct.
However, having said that, they really wouldn't want to put themselves in any kind of, from a winning position. They've come here. Until today, an hour before the day's play ended, we really were looking. I mean, yesterday I was having this conversation with my friends, and one of them suggested that he sees 16 wickets possible in, and the match concluding today itself. It doesn't rain. That is the kind of pessimism with which we were following this test match
Yes.
yesterday. Suddenly today we have all the enthusiasm that we can gather thanks to this partnership, right? So let's take it step by step. We really don't know. Australia can afford to accelerate only once they have got a stable start. So
Okay.
from there on, how long they take to kind of put a target in place, and again, have enough time to push for 10 wickets, and then again, as Sahil says, bear in mind that they still only have to depend on Hazelwood and Cummins to get the job done. So all these factors, there's no telling that what exactly is the number to be on board. I think it all depends on what happens out there on the field. In an ideal scenario, the way I'm looking at this, what Saurabh said makes all the more sense to me. If you
Uh-huh.
really can't bat 2 sessions to save this test match with this famed batting order that you have, then I'm not really expecting anything from India at this point in time.
Correct.
So I'm
Anushka
only
Negi, yeah.
hoping that doesn't matter what Australia does,
Uh-huh.
we draw this test match.
Fair enough. Anushka Negi says, why don't you guys talk about Shubman Gill? Why Rohit and Virat always, because they're anyway going to retire after the series. Anushka ji definitely will discuss, because if Rohit and Virat retire, once they retire, automatically Shubman will go on the top to open. और इसके बारे में हम detail में चर्चा करेंगे. We'll have a special episode on that. But चलते Vikas, your final word. Do you see a result India's way or Australia's way tomorrow? Chalo.
I think the man of the match should be Rain, frankly. But
such a diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
Chalo,
But
Barish,
my guess is that if a wicket goes early, then they'll probably, and assuming there's no further rain, they'll probably want to bat till about half an hour before lunch. Get as
Okay.
many as they can. Then maybe take one crack at the Indian top order before lunch, half an hour, and then come back for a second crack thereafter. And yeah, while there are concerns about Stark and Cummins and their workload, there is also 7 days to go to the boxing test, so they will get a little breather in between. So, and if they only have to bowl about 50-60 overs, then I think they will make the push. Having come this close, they won't let the match fizzle out if they can.
Yeah, so they'll basically seek 2 sessions and an hour at least to get this thing done. Fantastic. Yeah. What a wonderful discussion we have had. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Before we close,
yes, Sahil.
Before we close, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens tomorrow. If we see Travis Head or Mitchell Marsh probably coming out to open the innings and just have a whack for 1 hour. Because Usman Khwaja, Maxwini and Labuschagne aren't going to give you those 100, 120 runs. If those runs have to come, they have to come from the bat of Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh. As simple.
Interesting.
So it could be one of the most exciting days of the test if Australia, exciting day of the series, if Australia tried to take that adventurous route, and Jasprit Bumrah and Travis Head with the new ball, that's going to be one mouth-watering contest for sure.
Basically, secretly, we are all hoping that this is a big major turnaround, and India managed to kind of come from somewhere, some massive obscurity to actually win this. Everybody is waiting for secretly hoping for a poetry to.
Itna barish hua hai, the last day should have some sort of action. The last session today had some drama, and this test match has been very dull and boring, just watching up and down rain and everything. So last day, someone should throw in some sort of adventurous experiments there, so that kuch maza to ho na.
No, our viewers will say such greedy people on Beyond the Boundary, they're expecting so many things to happen. But fantastic. And friends, hope you enjoyed this. Please do like, share, subscribe to this particular channel. We'll be back again tomorrow post the day's play, and Sahil will be there with you with his vlogs and his report from Brisbane. But thank you, gentlemen, Saurabh, Sahil, Vikas and KSR for being part of the show today. We sign off today with the hope that tomorrow rain won't come and we'll have some exciting days of play, probably in India's favor. Let's hope for the best. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Beyond the Boundary, this is Pankaj Atavale signing off.